where shadows lie. Here they find a brighter sky. Every step, every mile, they're reaching for the American style. The grass is greener in America, where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for. Factories hum with a steady grace, ideas born in this boundless space. A light bulb flash, a towering steel in every corner. The promise feels real. From the ground to the stars, we're built on dreams, we're raising bars. The grass is greener in America, where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for. The grass is greener in America, where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for. The grass is greener in America, where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for.
Hey folks, welcome back to the program. Chris live in central Pennsylvania for our Sunday Kaffee Klatsch. I didn't think we were going to get to it today because of the internet, but it looks like it's back for the moment, so hopefully you won't have any buffering because of me. All right, so okay, I think that's spelled wrong. Yeah, that's spelled wrong. All right, I put a poll up for people to answer as we go along here. All right, so let's see what we got in the chat here. Excuse me, and then we'll get to some of the stuff. False hope from false prophets. We're going to talk about that today. Hopefully you'll find that interesting. For those of you here who are Verrayers, Lügners, Betrügners for the Facebook group where false hope is propagated, you should just leave now. Just go say the Colonel's a terrible person. He hates people. He's terrible about South Africa. Just go ahead. We know that's what you want to do. So don't even waste your time hanging out here. Don't waste your data. Just go elsewhere. Go tell your lies about me now. At the end, don't forget Spanish like me. Some words are similar to English, some to German, some to Norwegian. But when I hear, I can't. Kelly Morrow, I take it you're a non-Afrikaans speaker, and you're talking about Afrikaans. Here's a phrase for you, Kelly. Ek praat nie Afrikaans nie, which is the double negative from French, which is the influence of the Huguenots on the Afrikaans language. Because French has developed the double negative, which used to be low class 500 years ago, but it became the norm in French with a double negative. It means ek is I, prat is speak, expression. Ni, not ne, ni is not, do not, Afrikaans, not. So that's something you want to know. There you go. Ek prat, P-R-A-A-T, double. Dutch has a lot of double vowels, and Afrikaans replicates that. That's why you have names like Christian with 2 A's. It's a little crazy. It just drags on. Whereas in German, we just use an umlaut if you want to drag something on or off. By the way, you all have the coolest accents when speaking English. Kelly, what are you doing here, and where are you coming from if you're just learning about Afrikaans? Yep. Yeah, if you speak English and German, you can figure out Afrikaans, even if you don't speak it. Colonel hasn't mentioned her so many times. I'm curious to hear. No. I've only mentioned her recently because of the attacks. Luva, welcome to you, and also the damage the person's doing. How do you say welcome? Well, it depends. Good day is goeiedag, which means good day. If it's morning, goeiemorgen. More is spelled like more, M-O-R-E, with a little accent over the letter, the E. So goeie means good, or in that context, okay? Or you can say welcome. Welcome, like German. Yeah, except it's spelled differently than German. Let's make this short when the Colonel's been busy and still has lots to do. Okay, Angelique. Okay, everybody's giving lessons here in Afrikaans now to Kelly. Wow, reading this, I see it's not so easy to teach. No wonder people go to school for it. Marcel Engelbrecht, thank you for your membership as platoon leader. Okay. All right. Did send you an email on this green card debacle in Oklahoma. Okay, Alan. Excuse me. All right. VR Junkie says, been here 1.5 weeks, loving it. Well, that's awesome. Great. Trevor Charles is here. Hi, Dan McCartney. God's daughter used to love watching these up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. every evening. Did miss one. Followed all the advice. Yeah, I wonder how many people are here that have been denied. Interesting combo starter. Yep. Okay. I am still waiting for passports, unabridged documents before we apply. Well, I don't know what you're waiting for, Jessica. You don't need a passport to apply. Just use your identity number on the intake questionnaire, and hopefully you get the passport in the meantime. You just end up further and further back in the queue if you wait. Jezebel Gaming, what's up, man? All right. Terminator, what's going on with you? And Happy Chappy. Right. Okay. What's congrats for? So Nico Scope got a congrats. What do you do? Paul's Claws. See some usernames here I haven't seen before. These little blue eyes. Oh, that's pretty. These little blue eyes. Okay. Likely why I understand Dutch and German. Flemish is also understandable. Yep. Ek is mal oor die Afrikaans wat jy praat, Colonel Wyatt. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You're from Kentucky, Kelly. How did you find us, Kelly? That's what I'm curious about. All right, let's get to the conversation. So it is now July 12th, 2026. Thank you, Ronaldo. Don't spend it all at once. 14 rand. Yeah, that'll pay for about 3 seconds of my airtime flying to Dallas. 14 rand. Thank you for that. After the taxes come out, it's 1.5 seconds. Anyway, hey, Ronaldo, how's it going? How was your stream? I assume you had one. There you go, Colonel can speak some Afrikaans. No. I can understand Reed's Afrikaans, but I don't speak it. I was trying to find my little book here that had it. I have a little book that's here, that Afrikaans lessons. Is it still here? There it is. Learn to speak Afrikaans. This book I've had since the 1980s, I think. Let me check the date on it. Look at how the pages are faded. They're all yellow. See how yellow the pages are compared to the cover? That's how old it is. It's so old that I actually put my Social Security number in like a fool back in the day. When we used to write our Social Security numbers and things, that was dumb. This was published in 1989. That's when I got this in the 80s, 1989. My blood pressure's not up. No, my blood pressure's not up. Relax. It's fine. My blood pressure's fine. Okay, let me see if I can find something to read in here. Here we go. This is Jan und Piet in die Kaffee. Jan und Piet loop op die straat. Die stad is stil. Daar is geen motors of bussen in die straat nie, wat dit is baie laat. Julle moet loop, want Jan het geen petrol nie. Bummer, he ran out of gas. Anyway, Louisa got approved. Okay, well, you're not here yet. I'm not to put a damper on it, but approval means that, remember, that can be, I'm not trying to put a damper on it, it can be reversed at some point. So congratulations and thank you for the 40 Rand. And I hope that all goes well for you. Okay. All right. So, hi, do I need a passport to go to America as a refugee? Yes, you do. Because the South African government will not allow you to leave the country without a passport. That's a South African requirement. Refugees don't have to have a passport. We can give travel documents through the UN. But South African refugees will have to have a passport because South Africa will not let you leave without it. Is it really good to learn from? It's what good to learn? Is this book good to learn from? Yeah, from 1989. Yeah, that's yeah. So, but when I started learning this, I was already fluent in German and fluent in English. Yep. Hetty-Ann is falling off the chair laughing. Why? My reading or the story? Well, the singing is pretty good. The music is pretty darn good. I mean, yeah, I mean, listen, so, God bless it, excuse me. Oh, God bless it. Let me look for something here very quick. I want to just do this and then we'll get back to it. So, where's it at? Where's this thing at? It should be around here. Yeah, let me see if I can find that. I'm looking for it somewhere else now. I'm looking in the wrong place. So I need to go here. I need to move that to a different spot so I can find it. All right, see if I can find it here. So, there it is. Here we go. So this is a song I made. So please bear with me, refugee interested people. We'll get back to refugees, but let's just do this little interlude. This is a song I wrote about a friend of mine, Steve Hofmeyer, who's a popular musician, actor, author in South Africa, and I guess you can call him an activist too. So Steve Hofmeyer is a friend of mine, and this is a song about him, and this is one I did in AI in Afrikaans. So this one's for Kelly, so she can see how beautiful language can be because she thinks it's beautiful. Die stem wat bly.
Stofpad is lank, maar ons kom van ver. Honde staan in die lug, fyne suiderster. Die saal is gepak, die atmosfeer laai. Ons wag vir die oomblik, laat die musiek nou waai. Mense van heinde oor die vlaktes en berg, vir 'n man wat sy siel in elke noot verberg, om te hoor sing, om hier te sien, dis die tipe respek wat 'n legende verdien. Van die Sippie se storie groot verhoog, het jy ons laat huil en laat glo, agter elke man tot die diepste treurkrom, dis jou voetspore vas op hierdie grond. Jy is die stem, die man van die dag, 'n rots in die storm, 'n vriend en 'n maat vir die taal, vir die volk, staan jy onbevrees, waar ander bly stil bly, sal jy die een wees. O, Steven, jou woorde vind ons krag, 'n legende wat skyn in die donkerste nag. Streef hof my, hulle gooi dalk die klippe, die woorde is vuil, omdat jy die waarheid onbeskaamd vertel. 'n letterkundige gees met 'n pen in die hand, jy skryf vir die siel van ons dierbare land, beginsel vas teen die stroom en bly staan, van die dae van Bruce tot in 7de laan. Dekades se passie, dekade se vuur, jy gee alles vir ons, uur na uur. Ja, van Sippie se storie groot verhoog, het dat jy ons laat lag, laat huil en laat glo. Agter elke man tot die diepste treurgrond is jou voetspore vas op hierdie grond. Stuur jy die stem, die man van die dag, 'n rots in die storm, 'n vriend en 'n maat vir die taal, vir die volk staan jy onbevrees. Waar ander bly stil bly, sal jy die een wees. Oeh, Steven, jou woorde vind ons krag, 'n legende wat skyn in die donkerste nag. Laat die wêreld maar raas, laat die kritiese praat. Al ken jy die hart van 'n man van sy staat. Hy's meer as akteur, hy's meer as gesang. Hy's die stem van 'n volk wat na vryheid verlang. Die stem, die man van die dag, 'n rots in die storm, 'n vriend en 'n maat vir die taal, vir die volk staan jy onbevrees. Waar ander bly stil bly, sal jy die een wees. Oeh, Steven, jou woorde vind ons krag, 'n legende wat skyn in die donkerste nag. Steve Hofmeyer, die legende, en woord en daad vir ons.
All right, folks, that's Steve Hofmeyer, my tribute to him. That song is, I think, approaching about 90,000 plus views. Let's take a look and see. Wonder how that's doing. Let me see. Yeah, let's see what the stats on that currently are. And make sure this microphone's on. 94,700. Yeah, so it's still getting a few views. Yeah, every hour it gets a few views. Yeah, pretty cool. So 94,700 views. Cool. Hopefully I hit 100,000 sometime soon. Maybe we can promote it. Yeah, well, Steve, you Ista. Yeah, he is an Ista. Anyway, so yeah. All right, back to the refugee story there, folks. Sigi, I don't know what advice to give you. I don't want to heartbreak. I don't want to give you false hope. I don't want to mislead you because I don't know your situation other than what you've told me. And you know, the linking thing I think is an issue for you. That it's got to be sorted, but it doesn't appear that it has anything to do with you. So hopefully it will get sorted. Yeah. So you're in tears, Diana Thompson, because of that song. Oh, come on, that's a pretty song, man. Lost your supper from the wrong side. What does that mean? People don't like Steve because he's honest and tells the truth and tells things that people... Yeah, I know. Well, Mara Lisa Hayes, that's the same problem I have. I'm honest with people. It's like the ineligibility letters. I told people 3 or 4 months ago, actually I think 5 or 6 months ago, I first started talking about ineligibility letters because people they were going to get these. We have to work on the pronunciation of the R. Nothing wrong with my R. Okay, so but thank you for the 35 Rand. If I can mispronounce the R and keep getting money, I'll keep doing it. So anyway, you don't like the way I say Ferraya? Anyway, so yeah, so back in January, I had gotten confirmation that no one had been denied yet. That was the end of January. I told people that. I said, but there will be denials, and I did a video shortly after that. Then a couple months later, I did one, and then the bathrobe clown said, I'm frightening people. You're lying to people. You're misleading refugees. No, it's simply telling you the truth, preparing people for the inevitable. Some people, it's going to be inevitable. And then I said that people make themselves ineligible because they're out of the country, they've got safe haven passports, they refuse vaccinations, social media behavior, criminal convictions, and then that gets turned into going onto that person's hate-wanking website. Colonel, he just calls you a liar and a criminal because you got an ineligibility letter. No, I didn't. You're just dim-witted and thick-headed, and you don't listen to what I said. So people can twist it everywhere they want, Kath. Or yeah, people don't like the truth. That's the bottom line there. Kathy said it's a nice tribute to you. You're welcome, Kathy. I did that months ago. And Eugene doesn't like Steve so much. That's fine. But that's because you don't know him. If you knew Steve, you'd love him. Okay, finally some application. Okay. All right. And you guys want me to read the sentence again? All right. No, Dwayne, don't worry about it. Well, nevermore. I'm glad I cracked you up. All right, let's talk about false prophets and Verraaiers, Leugners, and Betrugners. Okay, so this is the letter that went out on June 30th to several hundred South African refugee aspirants who unfortunately had their hopes dashed that they would be coming to America refugee program. Some of those people had previously received approval. But again, ladies and gentlemen, the approval is conditional. It can be revoked at any time up to the moment you get on that plane. I've said that from the very, very beginning. Is somebody here talking about asylum? No. First off, you have to be in America legally in order to claim asylum. If you come at a border post and cross over, under the law, you must be detained and put in prison until you go before an immigration judge to hear an initial hearing. And then they can determine whether you're a safe bet to put out. Do not come to America seeking asylum. It is a fool's errand. Over 90% of asylum applications are denied. We just had only the second South African asylum case approved in the 17, almost 18 months since this refugee program was approved that we've heard of. Only two cases. One that Professor G knew about, one that I found out about. And I've heard no updates on that. I don't know if the family's going to give me the interview or not, but 2 cases were approved. And the second case, they waited 7 years and spent thousands of dollars, no doubt, for attorneys. Yeah, you met him, Kailemi Corner. Cool. Yeah, he's an awesome person, great energy. That's why we get along so well. So this is a letter that went out to hundreds of people out of the hundreds of thousands, so not that many. U.S. Immigration Services, June 23rd, delivered on June 30th. Now, there are additional ones that have gone out since then. Notice of ineligibility for continued processing for resettlement. We are writing to inform you that following review, USCIS found your application to be ineligible for continued processing for resettlement to the United States at this time. This cannot be appealed. Do you see that sentence? This cannot be appealed. The appeal process has been suspended, yet we have people running around giving people false hope, telling them to fill out an I-602. All right, so that is what the situation is. You've been told that you're ineligible. Not that you were denied, that you're ineligible. And there are people spreading false hope and lying to people. And if that gives you comfort listening to them, then feel free to do it. They're doing things like this, creating this nonsense. South Africans fleeing persecution denied U.S. refugee protection. Well, South Africans fleeing persecution are denied protection in every country in the world if they're ineligible. Hundreds receive ineligibility letters. After interviews, security checks, and document uploads, portals still show under review. The portal has nothing to do with this. The fact that someone included in that shows they know nothing about what's going on here. These families face documented farm attacks, racial discrimination, jobs, and land policies and violence. America is always welcome and persecuted. Why are these cases being rejected? Because they're not being rejected. They're not eligible. These cases are ineligible. These people are not eligible for resettlement in the United States. And so then they create this ineligibility support network. Support, empower, connect, hope. At Elon Musk, at POTUS, and at FLOTUS. Please review these claims and stand for justice. Well, you're pissing into the wind, and you know how that goes. So I hope you don't get your trousers wet. How long did you apply? Because you're a very good moderator, Lily. Who are you talking to? There's no @ for anybody there, Dwayne. There's no @ so nobody knows who that is. I have more than one moderator here. So I'm not sure who you're talking to there. So there's that. Now, here's the latest thing that is being pushed now by these people who are giving people false hope. I did show you the part where it says there's no appeal. There's no recourse. You cannot appeal this. You saw that, right? Let's go back to it. There is no appeal. Bottom right-hand side. This cannot be appealed. You see that, right? Okay. That's not complicated. These people ran around and told people that Kevin Grigsby doesn't work for USCIS. The letter's not real. It's fake. It never would have come this way. All of them were wrong. I told people from the very outset this letter, unfortunately, was genuine. My analysis was it's genuine, and this is real. Yet all these people ran around creating all these problems, false hope, saying, no, it's not real. It's a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was genuine, and these people are ineligible according to USCIS. And that's unfortunate for them, but that doesn't change the reality. Cannot be appealed. Can you see that? That's what the letter says. Cannot be appealed. The appeal process was suspended earlier this year in April. Professor G was the first to report on that. I followed up on it, report up because I was busy at the time and didn't see it. So it cannot be appealed. Yet people are in that group telling people to do the following, which will be ignored. If it's not ignored, fantastic for you, but you're really just pissing people off and they're going to wind up blocking you. That's what's happening here. But, you know, I can't tell people what not to do. So thank you for that. So hypothetically, you could reapply. What is that? Hang on a second. I got to get over here. I can see that. You can reapply. You can reapply if you have an idea that the PA was the reason for denial. What PA? What is a PA? Pennsylvania? I have no idea what a PA is. Oh, primary applicant. Okay. Could other family members go? Oh, well, hypothetically, TM Alpha Counter. Yes, that's what I said. I don't have an answer on that, but hypothetically, yes. If your case was denied for, it doesn't even have to be the primary applicant. If someone in the case was, but yeah, if the primary applicant, let's just go with that. If the primary applicant was denied for something or given in, they're not eligible, and the other person is still eligible and you want to split your family, hypothetically, you could reapply. That's correct. Thank you. I understand now. Primary applicant. Okay. Cybertrip says you can't go work. What are you talking about? Are you asking about asylum? No, you can't work in America as an asylum seeker. For 5 months, you're ineligible for work. The 6th month, you can request approval. And if USCIS is timely and they get it done after 6 months, you can work. But that's 6 months that you can't work legally. And if you work under the table, then you're going to get a criminal charge against you. The auto response is fixed to my knowledge, Pistons, and it went out to a few hundred people. And it was a huge mistake, and it really just caused more chaos and confusion. We'll get to that shortly, too. So they're now telling people to fill this form out, okay? And you saw that it cannot be appealed. Cannot be appealed. So let's get to this, okay? What's the purpose of the I-602 form? Let's just talk about that very quickly, okay? All right, so this is the I-602. Application by refugee for waiver of inadmissibility grounds. Department of Homeland Security. Who may file this? Foreign nationals may file this application to apply for a waiver of certain grounds of inadmissibility if they are seeking to be admitted to the United States as a refugee. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services may grant a waiver on the grounds of inadmissibility if you can establish a waiver should serve humanitarian purposes, preserve family unity, or be otherwise in the public interest. Now, who may file this? You may file this application to obtain a waiver if you're a foreign national seeking to come to the United States as a refugee. That would be the South Africans who have inadmissibility letters. Okay? Do not file the application if you're not seeking to be admitted to the United States as a refugee. Okay? If you're inadmissible for any of the following reasons, no waiver is available and you should not file this application. All right. Here are the reasons. Good Lord. So, if you have been denied for the following reasons, okay, I'm sorry, that's just becoming very distracting. Thank you for the 10 memberships, but it's very distracting. I'm trying to read. If you have been denied, if you're inadmissible for any of the following, no waiver is available. So if you're a controlled substance trafficker, and I know one person that is that, whether they meant to be or not, you're not eligible for any waivers. General security and related grounds. Immigration Nationality Act, Section 212, Paragraph A, Subparagraph 3, Paragraph A. Go look it up. General security. So general grounds. Wow, that covers a lot of space. Terrorist activities. Adverse foreign policy consequences for the United States. Participants in Nazi persecution, genocide, or the commission of any act of torture or extrajudicial killing. You cannot have that waived. You cannot have that waived. You can, if you're seeking a waiver under vaccination requirement, it does not apply to refugees, foreign nationals seeking to come to the United States. You must do the immunizations. There is no waiver for this. No waiver for that. If you are seeking a waiver of inadmissibility because you've been determined to be a drug user or drug addict as described by U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, you must file the application to seek a waiver of inadmissibility. You've been determined to be a drug user. The designated physician determines whether you are currently using or in the past have used any controlled substance. The designated physician makes this determination during the required medical exam, which has already happened, according to applicable regulations. So, after consulting with Health and Human Services, USCIS will exercise its discretion to determine whether to approve a waiver. So they're telling people to file this, even though it says you cannot appeal it. This is an appeal, the I-602. And it is for people who've been denied overseas. But if you've not been given a reason, what is the basis for your appeal? What is the basis? Are you going to take a stab in the dark? Let me ask that question, okay? If you have an ineligibility letter and you're in South Africa right now, let's see how many people have answered that, if anybody has. Okay, 2%. Okay, 2%. 2 people are here. 2% of how many people answered this poll? 300. So 6 people, and my thoughts and prayers to those of you who've gotten that. 6 people here at least have gotten inadmissibility letters, and this isn't directed at them. This is directed at anybody that's talking about this process. So you've been told that there is no appeal, okay? And you've not been given a grounds for your ineligibility. It doesn't say this, that, or the other. So unless you know for certain, and how would you know for certain? It might have come up in an interview. Unless you know for certain, how are you going to appeal it? How are you going to fill? What are you going to claim on the I-602? When you fill out this form, this just prints the background because it's not an actual form. If you are going to fill this form out and appeal this, which will be denied according to the USCIS, they're not taking appeals. But even if they accept this, what is your basis for the appeal? So here's what I'm going to say. If you have an ineligibility letter, and you've been telling me all along, or you've been saying, I never did anything wrong, I never did anything, nothing make me ineligible, yet you're going to fill this out? How? Unless you've been lying to me, or you've been misleading yourself, denying the truth of yourself, and you know why you were inadmissible, and now you're simply going to, come on. Something's not cooking right here. Okay, guys? Something's not cooking right here. So, look, if you all want to fill out the I-602 who got letters of ineligibility and send it in to them, that is your prerogative. But the people telling you that this will solve your problem and they will reconsider your case, they're giving you false hope. Your letter says it cannot be appealed. I don't know what's ambiguous about that. There's nothing ambiguous about it. What is this? What's Kelly saying? Cyber trip. I don't know what you're talking about, but the form is for people who are found inadmissible. Exactly. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to explain it in terms that make sense to people because they're all running around. Right. Inadmissibility. Waiver of inadmissibility grounds. Inadmissibility means denial. That's why I've been making the distinction between a denial and ineligibility. What people received is letters saying you're not eligible. You're not eligible. You don't qualify for the program. And they don't tell you why. So how can you appeal that? There was a request for review process that is gone. It no longer exists. This is not the right form for your situation from South Africa. People are telling you it is. Number one, you can't appeal it. So this is an appeal form for inadmissibility. Anyway. Sneaky suspicious that in my case, we'll start moving again after second medicals. We didn't get all our vaccines in the first medicals. Hope that's right for you. Danica van Wyk, welcome to you. All right, now let me turn the alert box back on. That was distracting. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Cybertrip was talking to somebody else. Oh, again, I missed something. Workers are totally awesome. They have listened to me. Sharon's having a good experience with USCS. Good to hear. Enjoy the rugby. I'm exhausted. Summer holiday, no sleep. You under 20 championship. Yeah, Mark. Except it was buffering. I had very bad internet for a whole week, and I watched the game against Scotland. I couldn't call it, and a lot of people wrote to me. They're concerned about my welfare. So after the game yesterday, I went out and stood in 90+ degree temperatures and 85, 90% humidity, sweating and melting and getting sunburned outside with the tripod mounted on top of my car to do a live stream. So yeah, that's what I did yesterday, just to let everybody know that I was okay. But no, I haven't watched any of the under 20. I do want to watch South Africa, England. That's coming up shortly. Is re-interview a common thing? Yes, it is, my folk. Interesting name. Of course, re-interview is the common thing. It's not a re-interview. It's a second interview. Don't call it a re-interview. Yes, it's not uncommon at all. Not uncommon at all. Yep. Okay, so Team Afrikaner, we got that straightened out, okay? Varoshki, you're buffering? Oh, that must be your internet. Mine's working. No, I didn't see about the Paya application. Stan from IBF, wherever IBF is. Recent asylum case approved. Mark Feldman, do you even watch my channel, brother? I mean, I'm the one that broke the news. I'm the one that broke the news. I'm the one that broke that story, and I got people telling me about it on my channel. That's funny. I broke this story. There, look at that. I broke the story. Well, requesting a file from the USCIS for a Freedom of Information Act isn't necessarily going to tell you why you're ineligible. You can do that if you want to do that, but it's not going to necessarily tell you why you're ineligible. Maybe there's a national security reason. You're welcome, my folk. Okay. Shots fired in our neighborhood again tonight. I don't know where that's at, Mari. Okay. You're perfectly correct. That form is for people in another category seeing inadmissibility letters giving you reasons, not ineligibility letters. It's true. And we've got people giving false hope. And I'll make a video after this. Yep. Mark, not to pick on you, but yes, I know about it. Thank you for sharing. I'm the one that broke the story 3 days ago because a lady contacted me. Welcome back, folks. Earlier today, I received a message from a South African refugee who's arrived in America. She's not actually a refugee. She's an asylum seeker. A personal friend of theirs who had applied for asylum in the United States had just been granted asylum. Well, congratulations to that person and their family. That's amazing news. Now, I cannot independently confirm it, but I have no reason to disbelieve that person. Also, she sent me a voice note from the person who was granted. They said they had a very sympathetic judge, which is unusual, so that's luck of the draw for them. And they said that ICE really didn't have much to say at the hearing, so they were granted asylum status. Now, before you start popping the champagne corks, I've already asked for an interview. Hopefully that person will grant it, and we'll talk about their path. But as I've said, asylum cases are a treacherous path. There's no guarantee. There's tons of cost. Who knows how much money they spent on attorneys. Also, she revealed in the voice note that it's been a 7-year journey. A 7-year journey. By contrast, if you qualify as eligible for the refugee program, you may wait 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half. But you're in South Africa, and then you come over here, and there's no wait. You have status the moment you arrive. You can work the moment you arrive. You're legitimate here. There's no question about it. So some South Africans think they can circumvent the process by flying over here and trying to declare asylum. It's not a wise decision. Now, this family, congratulations to them. They have been granted asylum, and hopefully they'll grant me an interview so we can talk about this. But again, I do not recommend that people seek asylum. First off, you had to have entered this country legitimately, legally, and have a basis for being here before you can even apply for asylum. And then you can't work for 5 months. You can request it 5 months to work, and at the earliest you can work at 6 months. So you better have a lot of cash on hand or you're going to be sleeping rough. It's not the right path. Congratulations to the family, and I hope they grant me an interview. That would be amazing to talk to them. But 7 years of uncertainty, of angst, of stress. How much of your life are you going to surrender by going through that stress for 7 years? When you can apply for the refugee program if you're eligible and be over here in many cases in a matter of months, worst case about a year for many people. All right, folks, more to follow on this one. A successful South African asylum case. They won their case. Congratulations. Yeah, so, no, Mark, I'm not picking on you. I did that 4 days ago. So on the 8th is when I published that. So, yeah. So there's a couple comments here I need to address very quickly. Anthony Mueller says, "Hi, Colonel. How's the most awesomest American doing?" Well, thank you very kindly. I appreciate that. By the way, Angelique or somebody said they're leaving because they have a headache. Angelique, I have a mother of a headache, almost like a migraine right now. It's been bothering me for hours. Unfortunately, in the past, I would take ibuprofen or Tylenol, but I'm also taking anti-inflammatory. So taking another anti-inflammatory like ibuprofen wouldn't be good for my liver. And the anti-inflammatory I'm taking does nothing for the headaches. It's for the arthritis. So I can't take it. So I'm suffering through. I'm hoping caffeine. There's a bit of caffeine in this would help. Caffeine helps tamp down the headache. So anyway, Freedom of Information Act won't stand in South Africa because the decision is based in the U.S. Correct. Well, Freedom of Information Act is American. So the PI Act is South African. Okay, you're going to send me some biltong. Thank you. Okay. So FOIA is not going to help you, I don't think. Some people have done it. It also takes a long time, folks. Thank you, Anthony, for the $20. Okay, so Mark says, Asylum possibility of second chance inroads in U.S. citizenship. No, asylum is not citizenship. A refugee is a program for someone who is abroad who is fleeing from persecution, either in country, rarely, Bosnia, Cuba, South Africa, or from a war zone or conflict or racial persecution or political persecution. They flee to another country, and then we agree to take them in as a refugee. They're given admissibility here under the law, and they are granted a green card after 12 months, and then they can apply for citizenship after 5 years as long as their nose is clean, kept clean. So that's refugee. Asylum seeker is someone who's entered the United States legally, and because it's unsafe for them to return for political reasons or persecution, they request asylum. It's a very difficult process, very time consuming. And when you apply for it, you're not eligible to work for 5 months, for 6 technically. You won't be able to work for 6 months legally. And asylum, if you show up at our border under the law, you must be detained to dissuade economic migrants. But the Biden regime, unfortunately, violated the federal law, and Joe Biden and his administration should be in prison for what they did. They allowed over 10 million criminal alien invaders to come across our borders. In fact, they used our tax dollars to fly them and dump them into our neighborhoods like Harrisburg, where at 2 o'clock in the morning, a contract flight from Texas dumped 100 plus Haitians into our neighborhoods here in Harrisburg. Total bullshit. The airport in Harrisburg closes at midnight unless an airline pays extra for them to be open. So, yeah, they broke the law, and they brought millions of people in here illegally. And they've never shown up for their immigration hearings because they're not asylum seekers. They're economic migrants. They're frauds. And so they just skip, and they never get arrested. They stay in our country for years. And we're supposed to be tolerant of these criminals in our midst, including sexual predators, murderers, rapists, and all kinds of other nasty criminals. And anyone that broke the law came across the borders as criminals, so they're all criminals. Anyway, an asylum seeker at the border who's legitimate, trying to get into the country, must be detained by U.S. Customs and Immigration Service, sent to a detention facility until they get a hearing with an immigration judge. At that hearing, the judge can order them deported immediately. If their case seems bogus, the judge can order them remanded and held into custody for further investigation, or the judge can order them released pending a future date for an immigration asylum hearing. That's asylum. Asylum and refugee are not the same. The same law governs both. There's different sections of the law. There are similarities, but they are not the same. And being a refugee has no negative tint against it. Being an asylum seeker is a different situation. Citizenship is completely different from that. So to answer the question that Mark asked directly, if you have a letter of ineligibility and you want to seek asylum in America, well, I'm not sure how you're going to pull that off because you're not going to have a visa to come to America, most likely. If you're inadmissible to the United States for some reason, they're going to give you a letter. But if you're simply ineligible, I don't know. You can apply for a visa. If you went through the refugee program and got an ineligibility letter, okay, and you want to go to America on holiday or for a conference or for business, you want to apply for the visa, you want to spend your $200 some, you can do that. I don't know if it'll be approved. If it's approved, that means that you probably weren't ineligible based on any criminal activity or anything that was adverse. You were ineligible for some administrative reason, which we don't know. And so I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you guys are asking crazy cases that I couldn't possibly answer. And yes, that asylum case was 7 years. Yep. 7 years. No, the Villones did not stuff your chances, Mark. No, they didn't. They were not refugees, and they were not asylum seekers. They were frauds, and they were arrested for it. The dude that got arrested at the airport, he was released. The case was dismissed, and he's in the queue to come over. His wife is still here. Let me see what's going on there. Yep. Wish they could give a slight idea on why some have received a letter. Keenan, again, I appreciate that, but I understand. Let me explain to you. They have no legal obligation to do it, and if they do it, they just open themselves up. They open themselves up for legal recourse. And since it's not required under law, that's why they don't do it. I suspect a lot of people, it's drug use. I suspect other people were caught lying. Some people got at least one case of safe haven passports. They were never eligible because of that. A couple people not living in South Africa weren't eligible. Oh, I know the Colonel's not going to let headache stop. No, I'm here for the audience. Yeah. So I mean, when I'm sick, I try to keep going. Yep. Oh, the Biden administration was a disaster. Sanj, what's up? Fresh lemon juice and water could assist your headache. Well, so can Tylenol, but I couldn't find the Tylenol when I was trying to go live for this broadcast. I have Tylenol, but it's just not handy. So it's in my bag. So we're ready to break outside when asylum claim draw stronger. No. Nope. Civil war, no. That's not going to fuel an asylum claim. What's your basis? What's the persecution? Because people are fighting politically in the country? You'd have to have a strong case. Do you think UK is going to get their push to take control of YouTube's algorithm right? Yeah, UK is, I don't know what's going to happen in the UK. Those idiots will pass anything. The Tories and Labour are in collusion to prevent reform from running the country. They don't care. They'll destroy that country before they let reform run the country. Yep. So I don't know what the answer on that one is. Second, I was told that international travel for work would not be allowed. It is my understanding by Cheney. Okay, so Exploma, I've covered this last year over and over again. So as a refugee, you are not authorized to leave the country. You're not authorized to leave the country. There are exceptions that can be made, but normally not for employment. Normally the exceptions are made for a death in the family or something like that. So normally while you're a refugee, you can't leave the country because we're giving you refuge. I mean, just use the word refuge, succor, protection. How can we protect you in Estonia? How can we protect you in South Africa? We can't. How can we offer you the protection of the United States legal system if you're in Canada? We can't. We can only do that for U.S. citizens and only to a limited extent. Therefore, you normally cannot do it. There are exceptions, and you can ask it, but if you're pinning your hopes that you want to travel internationally, then you're not a refugee. I'm not picking on the Exploma, but if that's the situation, you're not a refugee. You're a destination shopper. Not you. I'm just not you particular. I don't know your circumstances. I'm just saying. Then, I mean, I had a guy last year who said, Colonel, so how do I get them to pay for who pays for my shipment of my books? My shipping your books. Yeah, I do. I'm a historian and I do battlefield tours or something like that. And so I need to bring all my books shipped over. I said, well, okay, this is a refugee program. It's Noah's Ark. It's not the Titanic, or well, that's a bad example. It's not the QE2. You're not on a cruise. This is Noah's Ark. We're rescuing people. And maybe Noah's Ark's not the best answer because we brought a bunch of animals, but there's only people on this boat. Only people. No books, no cars, no dogs, no cats. You don't get that. That's not a refugee. Humans are refugees. Those other things are not refugees. So his books, if he wants his books here, do you know how they get here? He pays for it. And he said, well, so how does it work? Because I have to come back to South Africa 4 times a year. If you have to come back to South Africa, then you're not a refugee. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at people, but hey, how can you say I fled a country where I'm being persecuted, but I have to go back 4 times a year to conduct tours? You're not persecuted. You're destination shopping. You want a safer, better place or a better opportunity. That's not justification for being a refugee. Just like being a victim of crime is not justification for being a refugee. It doesn't work. Kino, the one who had the motorcycle accident the other day when I asked your advice. Okay, hang on a second. Change my name to I don't remember that, Kino. Did my advice help? Well, not of that history except speeding tickets. Well, speeding tickets are different. USCIS never closes. They're open 365 days a year, Dion Seeley. But their offices, for administrative purposes, are closed on federal holidays. Absolutely. And during the holidays at Christmas time, like most government agencies, they let people take very generous leave, and lots of people are gone, so they have reduced operations. They have the same hours, but their capacity is greatly reduced. Some government offices lose 75% of their people over the holidays because people take 1 or 2 weeks off. So, but they don't close. Elisa, they're open year-round. The customs immigration is at the border. That's who controls the border. James says, what have you been up to today besides YouTube? Nothing. All I've done is YouTube all day today. Now they called me back while the Steve Hofmeyer song was playing and told me they have crabs now. So I have to leave here shortly to go collect crabs. I got 24 crabs. They had a special. So I was not going to get crabs today, but now I'm going to get 24 crabs. So cool. Cool. So, yeah, and then I've got to go meet with Voroshka and some other refugees later this evening. So, yep. So I'll meet them probably about 6:30 or something like that. Boost your immune system with extra bit C, D, and K. Oh, what's this? The fatwa. So I'm sorry. So Kino was saying, oh no, it's not Kino. Somebody said the fatwa. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is, James. The fatwa to kill the American dog Trump must be implemented through an organized mechanism so it's not left unfulfilled like the Rushdie case. Well, then maybe it's time just to eliminate those guys. I think my name only changed. Okay. Exactly. You're an immigrant or a refugee. Yep. Apologies if this... God bless it. Where'd it go? Is there any confirmation that we first need to prove before we get... No. No. No, learning. No. If they're sending you, then you just go. Again, you go when they tell you, where they tell you. That's how the process works. There's a method to their madness. Bacterial test. Ooh, sorry about the event. Hello, Dan Peterson. Why are you guys all worried about my blood pressure? My blood pressure is fine. You guys don't see my health reports. The only thing I need to do is drop some weight. I'm too heavy for me. I'm not happy. That's because my hip, I hadn't been exercising. Arno, have a good night. What's the point of getting sick males who haven't had a use interview? Well, it's a good question, we matter, but if they tell you to do it, they tell you to do it. Simple as that. The Supreme Court voted 6-3 that as green card holders, if you leave the USA, entry can be rejected on certain grounds. Well, yeah, they don't need the Supreme Court to intervene. That's what the law says. I guess the court upheld the law. Yeah, you can be rejected. Green card doesn't mean you can stay here forever. It's just an authorization for permanent residency and work. That's what it is. Doesn't mean you get to stay here. Your green card can be revoked at any time. Your naturalization can be revoked at any time, but that takes a serious court process. Yeah, it doesn't take a court process to revoke your green card. USC asking. Abraham. My family that live in Canada want to give me a truck. Do you think they'll allow me to go get it? Not the end of the world. No, just tell your family to bring it to you. No, I don't think they'll allow you to go get a truck in Canada, Belouis. Tell your family in Canada to bring it to you. Meet them part way. If they're out in Calgary, fly up to Colorado and have them come to Colorado. Or, asylum would open many doors. It's not all asylum. No, Feldforge, asylum won't open any doors. First off, we open doors. Why? Are we just going to take flights of South Africans entering this country, landing in Atlanta and being locked up in detention? I don't think you understand what asylum is. I just explained it. You must have tuned in late to the program. This administration is following the law, unlike the Biden administration, so you can't just roll in this country. Always Fishing. Recently stumbled on your channel. Thank you for what you missed. What you want for people. You're welcome, Always Fishing. Please let other people know about the channel. Thank you. Paid time off, not leave as we know it. Well, Veroshka, yeah, for you as a civilian, but it's leave. In the military, in the government, it's called leave. We don't call it paid time off. We call it leave. The colloquial use word for it in the civilian world is vacation, but we call it leave. Just wanted to thank you for your insight. I wanted to ask God willing if I can go to the U.S. I'd love to do an interview with you. Well, that'd be great. Okay, thanks, KG. Containers cost a lot. Crabs. When we arrive, we'll make crab curry for you. Okay. Maryland blue crabs. Maryland blue crabs. Mr. DMC. My brother just applied and already had his first interview. I don't know who Mr. DMC is. I didn't see that. Feel better, Chrome. May God bless you. Thank you very much, Kelly. Maybe a lot of people get $10 because they didn't state what's required as a refugee. They just stated crime in general. That could be it too, Rion. Rion, that could very well be it. I told people that. But again, if I was adjudicator, all you have to do is tell me, well, I can't do this because of 145 race-based laws, and give me an example. And if I was adjudicator, done and dusted, solved. But I'm not the adjudicator, so yeah, maybe that is it too. That's a possibility. Yep. Well, that's another thing I said all along, Rihanna. I said crime is not a basis for refugee status. People write to me all the time, Colonel, we were assaulted, I've been carjacked, I've been robbed, I've been stabbed, people steal my livestock. That's tragic. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's not the basis for being a refugee. What do you mean? I'm a victim of crime. Yeah, and so are 40 million other South Africans and 10 million Americans. It's not the basis. I've said that all along. So that might be a reason, yeah, but I've actually not covered that because I thought that was self-evident to people. Is it possible to do cultural orientation and get flight tickets and did not get it? What? Is it possible to do it and get flight tickets and not get approval? Yeah, it is, because you probably got an approval in your spam. You didn't check your spam folder or it got deleted. Whiskey's your friend. I don't think so. I'm driving. Eugene says you'll never be able to return to South Africa. If you return and want to get back into the U.S., you will be flagged for possible fraud. If so, no, that's not true, Eugene. That's not true. That's your assumption. First off, it's not true because we know the lady who went back. We have 6 South Africans who've returned to South Africa who are in the refugee program. So obviously you can return to South Africa. Also, those who become American citizens after 5 or 6 years, you're a citizen. You can go back to South Africa. You got a U.S. passport. It's always been that way with the green card. You're correct, Andre. Also, your green card becomes invalid if you spend too much time outside the U.S. You can't have a green card and just be here for like 2 months a year. That is you got to live here. That's the purpose of green card. Yes, green card holders can be denied entry into the U.S. based on moral turpitude. So, but the whim of border agents, no. And call the refugees racist. So why are they complaining if the racists are leaving? Well, because they're just a bunch of idiots, Buster. Keep my guns oiled. We left Canada 23 years ago. So glad. Only positive is Canadian citizens can live in the U.S. Yeah, I don't get that. I can't go live in Canada. How come they get to live here? And all these damn Canadians live here. Well, if you don't end your SARS tax status, then yes, you have to file your tax returns. Yes, you're liable for South African taxes. Yep, absolutely. It's going to be so weird knowing you guys worked during Christmas time. Well, very few people worked during Christmas time. Did the guy convicted of treason also receive an elbow? I don't know. I've never heard from that guy again. I met him in person. Actually, cheaper to transport a large horse than a dog to USA. Yeah. Never seen it. It's a very unique kind of loss. Okay, I'm not sure what Purple Heart said. Kara has a constant sabotage, mutilation my animals, and that's not even the attempted tax. Is it worth joining up with the National Guard? Will active service be better to go with? Blue, first off, you have to be a green card holder in order to go into military service. The National Guard is if you want to do that on occasion. You train once a month on a weekend and then a couple weeks typically in the summer, but not always in the summer. And you go to your courses occasionally. You can't be fired from your job. It's federal law. They have to protect your job if you're off for military service with the National Guard. Active service depends what you want to do, but you have to be fit morally. You have to be fit physically and mentally. And you have to pass a bunch of tests. You have to have a green card. Or some Afrikaners misbehaving. It looks like a little backlash on that, although that's probably just rumor. Oh no, Jacques, there are Afrikaners misbehaving. Yeah, we've had a few instances of people acting like fools. Yep. It happens. Rita, you're welcome for my time. Okay. How do we talk to you, please? Thanks. We matter now? Well, you send me an email to the email address of this channel, and if I get to it, I get to it. That's the best I can offer. Otherwise, you ask your question here, but I guess you must have something very private you want to ask. Also, people keep calling me at odd hours. I'm not answering the phone if you're calling me at an odd hour. I've been doing that for ages and I'm not getting a rest. It's very inconsiderate. Thanks for clearing the re-entry. No, Eugene, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's a fair assumption on your part. And I'm not saying they won't be nasty. You know, they have the immigration authorities in every country have the right to do, the authority to do all kinds of things. So you lose green card for more than 4 months. There you go, Abraham. That's it. More than 4 months. Just want to confirm, is there a difference between anticipated travel and tentative travel? Yeah, anticipated means they think that this is when you're going to fly. Tentative travel date, they actually have a date for you. Or maybe they're choosing, do you have the dates attached? When you get a gap, can you see if you have been getting my super chats? Oh, I have, well, I mean, all I can see is it shows up in my account. But I mean, if I never get it, I have no control of it because I can't see that. But I'll go back and look and look for the. I know you've done a number of super chats. You did a bunch of them, so I'll have to look. Where's the poll? It's in the chat. It's still there. 425 people answered it, Marlisa. They should make all aspirants sign they can't return. It's very upsetting for those waiting so long. Well, you know, there are reasons why people have to return. There's my email address. Justine just put it up if you want to send me an email address, okay? Or send me an email. When they're saying someone puts hand on you, are you allowed to defend yourself? Okay, well, good Lord. Why do you just come up with these scenarios? No! Just take the abuse. Come on, man. Be serious. Okay, you're allowed to defend yourself, but, you know, don't take what I told you, run out and beat and pummel somebody to death, okay? You know, you're allowed to use force to protect yourself, but, you know, what you're describing is an open-ended question, which I'm not going to answer. Can a refugee family of 4 survive on a salary of $5,000 in Florida outskirts? Okay, what are the Florida outskirts? Mississippi? South Georgia? What are the Florida outskirts? Florida's a state. Outskirts are usually associated with a town. 5,000 what? A week? A month? A year? I can't answer a question like that. Passport should be taken from them and received. She's rather draconian. Yeah. Okay. Jacques is laughing. Let me check the poll. Okay. 9% of refugees in America. So that means that about 40 people here are refugees in the U.S. 18% are not interested in the refugee program, but they're still here listening, and I thank you. Must be my loyal viewers just tuning in to see what we've got to say. Everyone in America must still file tax. When does the turn stop? Well, Louis, I'm not an expert in South African tax law. I know you have to end your tax status in South Africa. That's something you're going to have to figure out on your own. I had someone here that was going to talk about that months ago, and unfortunately he backed out because that self-loathing goober from Amsterdam, who is going to wind up getting his ass kicked by somebody that just gets tired of his stuff one day, threatened their business, and so they backed out. So much more entertaining than Netflix for Sunday. Well, I finally started watching Harry Wild last night. Boy, I'll tell you what, the character that that Jane Seymour plays, what a slag, a 70-year-old slag. Man, she's a slag in that show. But it's an endearing show, so I started watching it. I've also, as I watched that Australian show, Darby and Joan, but I ran through 2 seasons of that, so that's done. And then last night, while my internet was out, I actually binge watched the rest of You're Killing Me with Brooke Shields. I love that show for some reason. Yep. For some reason, I love that show. 438 votes. I want your sense of humor t-shirt. Colonel is going to do some merch. I have merch, but it sucks. The provider I have isn't the easiest to use, and they don't do hats. Maybe they have hats now. I haven't checked into it for a long time. Need you to put your feet in hot water and ice compress your head simultaneously. No, it's not a migraine. It's just a headache, and it's mostly gone away. The caffeine is helping. It was a killer headache earlier, but the caffeine is kicking in. What do you need to be a park ranger? Well, it depends. You want to be a state park ranger, or do you want to be a National Park Service? You don't get paid a lot, but it's a pretty cool job. If you defend yourself here, then you're guilty until proven innocent. Yeah, no, in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. See, South Africa's justice system is cocked up. It's completely cocked up. It's completely backwards. And just like Europeans, if you're presumed guilty and you have to prove your innocence, that's not right. Anybody can use the legal system as a weapon against you, and you could go to jail for having committed nothing. Sorry, my nose is itching here. Yeah, no, in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. Okay, and that's why you have a right to, not incriminate yourself. Louise, thank you for the 40 Rand. We got approved. Thanks for everything. You're welcome. Thank you. Charmaine, thank you for the 70 Rand. 10 weeks is Tuesday since I had my 2 to 40 10 of email. I kept in contact with someone from medicals, and they blessed to get their tickets. Again, Truth Seeker, that means nothing. That 2 to 4 weeks, stop counting on that. They'll get to you when they get to you is the problem. Well, then maybe you have an aversion to caffeine. That might be it. But caffeine helps most people. That's why if you look at some flu medication, you'll look at the ingredients, you'll see caffeine is included. Yep. Can own a firearm even before the green card. In my state, the eligibility to own a firearm is 90 days. Yeah, I don't know the story on that unrated grade. I was under the impression you had to comply with the law in your state, but then people tried to tell me I had to have a green card. I don't think you have to have a green card to have a firearm in America. We have people that come to visit America and go hunting here. They just have to have a license for hunting, and they have to import the firearm, or they use a firearm from here. They don't. Yeah, so I don't think you have to have a green card, although some people claimed you did. I don't know a straight answer on that. I believe you just have to comply with state law. If Medicaid is done for refugees end of September, are there clinics chronic patients go to get their chronic meds? Cost involved? Debbie, there's lots of free clinics in America. There's lots of free things for medicine. So I don't know the answer. I mean, this is a country of 350 million people spread across tens of thousands of miles up and down, east and west, north and south, with government hospitals and free clinics and church hospitals and, for-profit hospitals and clinics. I mean, there's a clinic on every corner in this country. So I don't know the answer to your question. I couldn't possibly answer that question. You have to tell me where you're living and what the circumstances are before I could even begin to address it. Management. You want to get into management in the U.S. in 1 year? Sure. McDonald's, Wendy's, yeah, Amazon. Credit blacklist and salary debt grounds for denial. Shouldn't be, not unless you've shown a history of irresponsibility. That's a different situation, Mr. DMC. If you're irresponsible, you could be a risk. So, but yeah, generally speaking, being in debt is not the issue. Most people are in debt. Committing, what's this? You report a colleague committed fraud. She retaliated saying I'm racist. That's the first offense they used to get out of it. And guess what? She got out of it scot-free and you got crapped on. Of course, Denver. Of course, that's exactly what happens. So you can't report fraud in South Africa. You'll get rubbed out or you'll be ostracized. What's the point of fighting freedom if you're going to do nothing with it except put in laws to take from others? Well, that's a fair question. No, you don't do vaccines again. Why do you think you do that? Why would somebody assume that? That's a question that makes no sense to me. Every vaccine has either lifetime immunity or it has limited immunity for a period of time. Why would you have to get vaccines again? This is why I tell you to get your damn shot records. When you get immunized, insist they give you the paperwork, preferably a yellow shot book from the World Health Organization. And if they don't, then just demand it so you have proof that you got the immunizations. You don't get jabbed again for the same thing. No, Belouis, state law does not supersede federal law, but to my knowledge, there's no federal law limiting people who are foreign nationals from having firearms and refugees. I could be wrong. No, state law does not supersede. No. States are sovereign, but the supremacy clause of the Constitution means federal law is supreme. You got that backwards, brother. Or you misspoke. Well, chronic meds are available. I mean, I'm taking asthma meds because of those burning oil wells in Kuwait. Well, Pizza Party, I'm telling you to demand one. You're seeing a physician. That's what physicians do. I've never met a physician who gave me an immunization, including the shysters who took $130 US out of my pocket at R. Tambo for an unnecessary yellow fever vaccination who didn't give the book. South Africa yellow vaccination book. Yellow fever, May 27th, 2010. Yellow fever, May 27th, 2010. Waste of $130 for vaccine I already had. Right there. South Africa, OR Tambo. Criminals stealing my money. Dr. V.S. Solanki is the one who stamped this. Yep. Good for 10 years. Of course, I had one that I had 4 years prior. It was perfectly fine. But, that's the South African one. Here's a CDC one. Right here, CDC. Centers for Disease Control. Same booklets. Here's the Health and Human Services booklet. The HHS, Health and Human Services, Public Health Service. Here's the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Public Health Service with a different logo. It's the same logo. It just looks different. Sorry. I was going to say. So, yep. And then here is a yellow piece of paper printed by the military. This is a Department of Defense form. And it shows vaccinations. Right? There you go. This one has hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis B, hepatitis B, immunoglobulin, influenza, meningococcal, measles, mumps, rubella, OPV, PPD, that's for tuberculosis, PPD, smallpox, typhus, typhoid, yellow fever. Yep, and here's the one from yellow fever, February 16th, 2006. This document, which is a perfect legal document, was refused to be accepted by the scumbags at the OR Tambo Airport, which led to me wasting $130 getting this immunization right there. So I had to get this because they refused to accept this assholes at the airport in OR Tambo. 10 years. This one was 2006. It shows I was immunized 2006. Got a stamp on it from a doctor. This, they made me pay 4 years later, even though it's good for 10 years. Yep. February 16th, 2006. Kaffee Benjamin was the administering technician. 0.5 milliliter. Yep. It was the Pasteur Institute version, and this was just 4 years later. I was wasting $130 getting the exact same friggin' immunization against yellow fever because scumbag South African immigration authorities can't follow the directions and do not adhere to World Health Organization standards. Yep. Seven immunization books, nearly 5 decades of jabs. Everything under the sun. No, you don't get the same jabs with the First Medical. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Not if you have the immunization record. There's no need for it. If they're doing it, they're just trying to make money off you, charging the U.S. government for shots that are unnecessary. And Lorraine got a certificate. Cool. In America, you get the ones you didn't get in South Africa. Yeah, I moved up, James. I jumped 10 spots. I did really well in Subaru. I had a great Subaru weekend, guys. I mean, if only I added a couple more points to one of the games, I would have had 5 bonus points. As it is, I had 4 out of 6. I had a really good weekend. That's why I jumped 10 spots. Last weekend, I took a couple flyers and I took a chance, hoping maybe I'd pay off, but it didn't. So this is what my Subaru looked like this weekend. Look at that. I got bonus point for Argentina. I said they beat Wales by 13 and they won by 14. South Africa, I said would beat Scotland by 15 and they won by 14. I got the bonus point there. England, I said by 5 because I wasn't impressed with the performance against South Africa, but they just destroyed Fiji. Fiji played much better against Wales. So that one I got a win. Japan and Ireland, I said Ireland by 21. They won by 16. So I got a bonus point there. France and Australia, I said France by 15 and they won by 16, so almost spot on. New Zealand and Italy, I was going to say 25. I wish I had said 25 because I said 21 and they won by 30 points. I would have gotten 5 out of 6 bonus points. But as it is, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of 12 possible points. That's tough to top that. That is a brilliant weekend. Picking the point differential between these teams is tough. So, yes, I moved up to number 9 in the standings. So, okay, here we go. So there we go. The Colonel number up 10 spots right there. So I only had 3 picks correct last week, but I got 6 this week. Kruger, Villy, and Flighty have gotten all 11 correct. JF Fun and the Sun has picked all 11 games correct, but it's the bonus points and the point differential make a difference in the standings. So I jumped up quite a bit there. All right, guys, I've got to wrap up and go get my crabs. Okay. Be sure to hit the like button. We're on the same point, Rion? Okay, I didn't see that. Rion, okay, where am I at? So, yep. Well, there's a number of people, 1375. 1, 2, 3, 4 of us at 1375 points, yep. But the top guy is rolling, man. He's got 18, so way behind. It's going to be hard to catch that, 18. All right, there's 6 games, though, in this tournament, so we'll see how it goes. And then the championship. All right, guys, be sure to hit the like button. I'll catch you later. I'm going to get some crabs. Then I'll meet up with Varoshka a little bit later on this evening. All right, God bless and have a good evening. Thank you all for being here. Hope I answered your questions. Cheers.